So we kind of went good, better. Work planner is what I'm going to say is our best option to get it to the display. So think a work planner is dispatching that work out to that display and that machine. So when you pull up to that field, it automatically selects client farm, field, boundary, guidance lines, along with your prescription and your product type. So eliminating a lot of headache if you've got, say, an inexperienced operator, or you just want to make sure that you've got that data properly on that screen. So first thing you're going to do, choose your cropping season. Next, you're going to choose your operation, and then you're going to click plan seeding on the right hand side. You're going to have a list of fields for your operation. What we would tell you guys to do is to choose your farms or fields that are going to be specific to that crop type. So if we're going to make a corn prescription or a corn work plan, we're going to choose those fields that will be corn for this growing season. Same thing on the soybean side, check mark those and select those, and then go through this process that we're about to show. So we're going to check mark that Levitt's quarter. We're going to click next. Brings up that boundary for the field, shows you an overview of those guidance lines. First thing we're going to do at the top there is select that crop. We're going to choose corn, and then choose your variety that we're going to plant in that field. So you can do multiple varieties. Let's say you get to the field and still, let's say they run out of seed for you, or you have to make a variety change. You still can always change that on the display, but we have to have at least a variety to send that out to the machine. Next here at the bottom, you could do a flat rate. So if you wanted it to just be 30,000, we could type that in there. But since we do have a prescription, we have that green circle denoting that we have a prescription available for this field. So we're going to sort through our list, find that Levitt's quarter, David City. And it should show the overview or a preview for the prescription. I had somebody come into my office yesterday, said the same thing, that it wasn't showing, but typically it shows the prescription for that field. Is it because you got two different varieties selected, or so? So should show an overview of that prescription. You can make it for additional varieties, so not necessary, but you can add each additional variety that you need. Same thing, if you are going to do a fertilizer application, we can include that in this work plan too. Third one at the top. Fourth one. Oh. There's a starter. So same thing on the prescription side, or the fertilizer side. Choose that prescription. Make sure your units is proper there. Gallons per acre, Chris. So make sure your units are set and proper there. Otherwise, it's not going to talk correctly on the display when you get there, and me and Dallin and Chris will be getting calls. Next feature, if you are using AutoPath, it is going to automatically populate those lines. If you're not, you can include your additional guidance lines. So you can check mark to include all of them. Since we've already cleaned them up, we shouldn't have a big list here. The right-hand side, those stars denote the first or your priority guidance line that you want. So we're going to pull into this field, plant the south end rows, and that's going to be the first one that's going to show up in your guidance and already be selected. Next, you're going to select those machines, operators, and implements that you're going to utilize. We're going to send this planning file to our combine with a 1770 on behind the combine. Next, if you are doing some custom work and want to keep track of a work order, you can do that. Bottom there, work instructions. I'm going to tell Dallin don't come home until he gets the field finished. Or you can put something more important in there, like east half this variety, west half that variety. Watch out for the riser in the middle. Get you some more information out to that operator. Once you get all this information filled out, click save. and that's going to put it into your work plan list. So what Chris is doing, he's going to pull up Operations Center. We're going to use the remote display access here to show you in real time how quick it is for that to come over to this machine. So if we go back to Work Planner, right now this is just stored on Operations Center. You have the option to send this from your phone or the Ops Center mobile app, or you can do it from the computer. We click a check mark in those work plans that you want to send, and then click send to equipment. So this is our combine here in the front of the room. Chris clicks send. In real time, we should see that prescription come in here, or that work plan show up pretty quickly. So pretty good program that's been used here. I know Dallin said he's used it with his dad for sending work plans out for anhydrous. Say Dallin gets a call in the office, somebody wants him to go out and do some anhydrous in. He can send the information to his dad. Dad can go out and anhydrous, and Dallin kicks his feet up, I guess. So real time, that all that information loaded in, I can click OK on that work plan. See what we're utilizing, so planting, seeding, liquid. So we don't have a controller up here, so it's giving us some errors for that. But as you see, loaded our client farm field, our implement, and then our prescription and information for that operation.
As well as your guidance line, there's our south ingress.
So a few more steps to get it out to the display, but I think it should help eliminate some of the hiccups and headaches that we get at the start of the season with button pushes on the display.
So as soon as you hit that boundary, as soon as you drive into the boundary of that field, that work plan is going to pop up and said, here's your field, here's your prescriptions, here's your guidance line. You hit accept, it's all set up and ready to go. You can go start planting. So eliminating all the need for that whole setup side of things. Yeah, the big advantage of work plan is when you pull in that field, if you're doing a starter and a seeding fertilizer prescription, that's a lot of button clicks. So you got to set up, choose your field, then you got to go over and you got to select your prescription for seeding, find it in the list, then you got to go to set up for your starter side of things, find that prescription, load it. By doing this, as soon as you pull in the boundary, all of that's done for you. And like you said, with an operator that maybe is not as familiar with doing all of that, if you can have it set up where all he has to do is hit accept and go, you have a lot more accurate data at the end of the day. Okay, so that's one step of making life easier on the Gen 4, Gen 5 infield. Dallin touched on the other one earlier, but we'll show you just a real-time example here. Under setup is data sync.